Thank you for watching. Another body of Credential Engine's work is utilizing the power of CTDL and the Credential Registry to provide meaning to learning and employment records. Now join me in learning more from our Chief Strategy Officer, Deborah Everhart.
Hi, I'm Deborah Everhart, Chief Strategy Officer at Credential Engine, here to talk about Credential Engine's work on learning and employment records, or LERs. In the context, you'll hear key points from Dror Gurevich, founder and CEO of the Velocity Network Foundation. Velocity Network Foundation is a nonprofit member organization, and it brings together leading workforce, HR, and EdTech vendors working on a next generation public data utility layer for the global labor market. Credential Engine is a member of the Velocity Network, working with other members for the credential transparency description language to be the semantic layer of this network, providing shared meaning across credentials from numerous providers. I'm going to briefly explain this key point and then turn it over to Dror to explain why the Velocity Network is so transformative and why CTDL and the registry are critical for making sense of the credentials that are issued to individuals. Most of our current systems and processes for creating and managing records of learning and work are siloed and disconnected. So across schools, colleges, employers, and lots of other sources, credential records are issued and stored in different ways. They use different data structures, and rarely do people have direct control over their own records. This is not just inconvenient, it's unfair and inequitable. To address these disconnects, there's accelerating convergence on open standards for managing learning and employment records. The core benefit is that a person can receive employment and education records all in the same data structure so that they can be exchanged in secure and verifiable ways across many different systems and processes. This gives individuals the ability to own, store privately, and share their own records, and it redefines how people can navigate their careers. CTDL credential and skill transparency is critical for the data infrastructure of LERs because it provides common definitions for what credentials mean, including contextual information. CTDL provides semantic interoperability for LERs. LERs provide this layer of meaning by including human and machine readable links to connect from the records to CTDL data in the registry. Through these links, systems can use CTDL in tools for job searching and pathway exploration and lots of other useful things. And a person can explore the CTDL links in their own LERs, empowering everyone to have a better understanding of their own achievements. So join us in building out the interoperable CTDL data layer for LERs. Credential Engine has developed an LER action guide to help. And now you'll hear from Dror Gurevich, founder and CEO of the Velocity Network Foundation, and he'll contextualize LERs in the rapidly evolving global labor market. Hi, I'm Deb Everhart, Chief.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dror Gurevich, founder and Chief Executive Officer of the Velocity Network Foundation. We are a nonprofit member organization hosting the largest global software vendors to the worlds of work and education. It will be my honor and privilege today to present to you the work we're doing, and I want to thank Credential Engine, Scott and Deb for giving me this opportunity. But first, let's start with some context. The disruptive labor market is one of humanity's biggest challenges for the next few decades. The emerging contours of the new world of work are rapidly becoming a lived reality for millions of workers around the world. The inherent opportunities for economic prosperity of both societies and individuals in this new world of work are enormous. They depend crucially on the ability of all concerned stakeholders to instigate reforms in the education space and in the labor market, as well as adopt new and innovative technology that will mitigate the megatrends for the future of work. But before anything else, we need to fix the broken data layer underlying the global labor market. Everything we need to do across the employment lifecycle, build pathways from education to employment, reskill 1 billion people, support broad adoption of platform work and open talent markets, all require processing individuals' trusted, verified learning and career records. Yet we're still relying on self-reported, unverified resumes and online profiles as the source for candidate and employee career records. That is the one impediment for true digital transformation of our space. This issue cuts to the core of our ability to build a future of work. Until we fix the broken data layer underlying the global labor market, all other efforts will remain improvident. But what if there's another way? What if we could turn education and career records into tamper-proof and cryptographically secured digital credentials the individual would curate from primary source authorities like their school or their past employer or their professional association, own them, store them privately, and share them with relying parties across multiple use cases. This rich, verifiable, self-sovereign career identity is the great transformer of the global labor market we've all been waiting for. Reducing friction and the cost to transfer trusted career and education credentials will redefine the way people navigate their career and livelihoods and human capital development and deployment processes in general. For this to become a reality, we first need to address the elephant in the room, which is interoperability. Today's style of portfolio careers and lifelong learning will require the individual to connect with multiple authorities that can attest to their education and career achievements in order to represent their whole selves. And for these credentials to have any utility value, any relying party the individual shares the credential with must be able to process and comprehend them. This is interoperability. And the fragmented nature of the global education ecosystem and the job market makes it a monumental challenge. Many platforms have emerged to support the exchange of trusted career-related information, but they are all proprietary and siloed, while the concept of portable, verifiable, comprehensive digital credentials requires an approach that is ubiquitous and boundless. So in order to transform the world of work, we need an internet of careers, a shared utility layer that enables trusted exchange of interoperable career education data for people and organizations across the global education and labor markets. One that is open for all to use, controlled by no single proprietary entity, that have physical foundational layer to serve as the actual conduit, as well as layers to enable global interoperability across technical, data syntax, data semantics, compliance, and business process aspects. This is Velocity Network. Credential Engine and Credential Transparency Description Language play a critical role in this ecosystem. Verifiable credentials are simply a tamper-proof and cryptographically secured container, assuring that the credential it holds is owned by the individual presenting it, that the credential was not tampered with, that the issuer is a legitimate entity, and that the credential was not revoked by the issuer and remain valid. But on its own, this is not much help, isn't it? The key to be able to use the credential presented by the individual to support any relying party's decision is the ability to make sense of its payload. In a highly fragmented learning and employment world, where different things have the same name and same things have different names, what does it mean for an employer when an individual presents a credential attesting to the fact she completed a course in project management? What competencies did she demonstrate? What experiences did she accumulate? CTDL has the potential to become the semantic layer of the Internet of Careers. As you can see on the right, to make their credential valuable across the ecosystem, issuers can link their credentials to a public CTDL registry that provides rich data critical to relying parties as they base their decision on the credential. I want to thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Deb and Dror.